What is up and welcome back, guys. Today we'll be working on Project's daily motor again. Adrian joins us once again. And today what we're going to focus on is first getting that bolt out. And then what I want to do is get all the oiling stuff set up. So that guy, the pan, the pickup, and the baffle. So that we can, next episode, clean this block up and get it ready for assembly. Well, we're starting assembly today, but I just want to get some of the stuff covered up so we can clean it and get this from black to the back to the aluminum color. So the first thing, as I said, we're going to tackle this guy. The bolt that I happened to snap off last time that Adrian told me not to do. But I thought I might as well take it off because I wanted to clean this up. The issue with that is it snapped. So we're gonna do what we did to the seat actually. I don't know if I made a video about the seat on Project Daily. We snapped the bolt off in there, so we drilled it out. But this time we're going to do it a lot more elegantly, because last time it took us 3 days to take that bolt out. It was also like a big grade 8 bolt, and we snapped a couple drill bits in there, and once you snap a drill bit in there, it's not happening. So, as I said, this guy, we're going to first make a punch in the center with the only sharp punch here, and then we're going to not throw the file at yourself, and then start at the smallest drill bit and work our way up till we can pull the center off or pull this guy off. So what we want is to get this piece off so we can actually spin it out, because as you can see, that is loose. And Adrian was telling me what happens is the aluminum and the steel actually corrode together and it doesn't come off. So it's just kind of becomes one. So once we get it out of this aluminum crossover pipe, then we can actually just unscrew it from the block and the threads should be saved. There is some threads in the crossover pipe and that's what's holding us up right now, but if we can get them loose or get the bolt kind of broken out of there, then we can pull it off and then just undo it from the block. So let's get to taking this off. I'm not going to time lapse it because it's a pain in, but we're going to just keep on doing updates till we get it off, and then I'll show you what else we're going to be doing today, because we're going to be doing what you have to do on pretty much every Subaru if you want it to live. Right, Adrian?
I agree.
So we have Adrian right now. He's just cleaning up the oil pan so we can paint it gloss black, because there's a lot of rust spots. I just want to make it clean before we put it back on the car, because well, it's off, it's a lot easier to clean than when it's not. And we're just using the incorrect stuff, just some Varsol and some Scotch Spray. Brake cleaner would probably tackle this a lot easier, but we don't have that, so we're just using some Varsol. And then I got the hole tapped, so it's pretty much dead center, and I'm just going to start with a small bit and work my way up. And hopefully we don't have to, or I know we won't have to drill all the way through, but hopefully we don't have to get all the way up to the biggest bit and it'll just come out. This guy is the man. Look at this, guys. We were able to get it out. You just kind of, it's that loose in the block that you can unscrew it. It was because the way it bonded with the crossover pipe, as I said, we had to like drill it out. What side is it? Oh, look at that. It's barely any damage. This guy is amazing. There's like barely any damage on that pipe at all. So what we did is we drilled it out, and then Adrian worked his way around using a screwdriver and just loosened it up and got it so it wasn't attached to it anymore, and then just wiggled it out and it popped right out. So there we go. Our final piece of deconstructing the engine is off. You want some solid O-ring? Like literally like solid now? So those were, honestly, I probably didn't have to remove them, but it's just nice to replace those while I'm in here, because if those failed or something, that would suck and get coolant all over the top of the block like we had with the oil setup. So yeah, that is a disgusting O-ring. that doesn't even count as O-ring. No. But now we're just going to tape it up so we don't get anything over there. Check out what Adrian did, guys. It is nice and shiny. There's still some pits here and there, but it's good enough. It will look so much better when it's on the car than it does before, and it's just nice to have it nice and clean. The only thing left I have to do is take off the sealant, and I'm just going to wire brush that super quickly, and then we're just going to rinse the inside of the tank with Varsol, and then drain that out, and then it's time to paint this guy and get it ready to go back on the car. So now that everything is clean on this, I'm going to do one last wipe down with some lacquer thinner, and then we are going to put some self-etching primer that Adrian just happened to spray in the air. Do that for one coat, and then we're going to put this Rust Check Gloss Black on it for the final coat. And then that will be done with that. And we actually forgot a seal, or I forgot a seal that's on the pan, so we have to run to Subaru Calgary. So we're gonna go there once this is drying, and then once this is dry, we can put on the pan and we can essentially start rebuilding the engine again. There we go, so we finished up the oil pan. Adrian painted that up really nice. As you can see, there's still some pitting here and there, but that's just because of the age of the pan, but it's good enough. Now we're gonna go head off to Subaru Calgary and go pick up the gaskets we need, because we need the one gasket to finalize it. If you guys remember, this car has a straight pipe. That's why it's a little bit loud. He did get it tuned, so it runs perfectly fine. It actually runs awesome. There's like no fine knock lean at all, which usually you get a little bit with straight pipe Subarus, but because it's pro-tuned, it's running like perfectly. And it's just a little bit loud. Like, he daily drives it every day. I don't know if I could do that. It's nice having a little bit of muffler on what I have. But this does sound absolutely amazing. Let me tell you guys. There is that video that we actually put a GoPro on the back of this, and when we first got it tuned, and it sounds pretty good. So we got our O-rings for the crossover pipes. We won't be doing that today, but we just got them because I was there. We also got, this is the guy we needed, this little tiny O-ring, that's for the pan itself. And then this is an up pipe gasket, and then we got some intake gaskets there. There's some more ordered just because, well, we were in there, we thought we might as well order them because a lot of them are special order because they don't have them on hand, like the TVG to the throttle. So now we're back in the garage. We have the block kind of cleaned up, and we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna start installing the stuff to the pan. So this is what, I'll show you exactly what we're installing, but this is what you gotta do if you wanna keep your Subaru from not blowing up. These are like my recommended mods if you guys ever pull your block, or even if you're under the car, you can do these. It's just way easier when you have the block out of the way. So here we go, we got the engine all flipped over again, and now it's time to work on our oil lean system. So we have two major components going in here today. First, we have the Killer B oil pickup that connects right there, and then we also have the Killer B oil baffle, which goes where the old stock one does. So I'm gonna grab those, show you guys where they go, and then kind of go through the process and exactly what we're gonna be doing. So these are two things we're installing, and the two most amazing things for your Subaru. So this is a Killer B Motorsports baffle. It goes in like this, and it prevents the oil from like slinging all over and just keeps it more organized essentially. And then that is the next guy right there. That is a Killer B engine oil pickup. Look how much sturdier it is versus the stock OEM one. So you can see why these break off on cars and why this is so much better of an option for your cars. So if you guys are ever pulling off a pan, invest in one of these. I would highly recommend it. They're not too expensive either, but it's just a peace of mind once you put that in there. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be putting in the baffle. So the baffle, it literally bolts up here, here, and here, and that's about it. It's not too difficult. Usually I like to torque stuff to spec, but it's 7 Newton meters of torque. Literally, foot-pounds of torque, sorry. So there's like nothing at all. So we're just gonna do it till it's tight and then leave it like that. So it was just as easy as dropping in the baffle, and then you put the pickup there and there and line that up. But make sure that you take off the seal. There's a seal, like a gasket there. An O-ring, and the O-ring is comes new on the pickup. So just take off your old one, and then all you do is tighten everything down, and you're done. And 30 seconds later, we have it all put back together. All we got to do is tighten up these bolts to 9 foot-pounds of torque, so not even using a torque wrench in that. And then we're all good and ready to put on the pan and seal up the bottom of the engine. So you're probably wondering why I'm putting on this stuff before I'm even got the block a little bit clean. And that is because, well, it's gonna be a lot harder to keep that dry rather than just putting the pan and stuff on and then washing the block. So that is the plan. I'm gonna put the pan on today and we're gonna have that. And then next episode, we're really gonna focus on making this block as clean as possible before we start reassembling it. Because you guys seen the grime? It's just, why put that back in Project Daily when we can clean it up and it's already out? I still have a little over a month to get this car done, so we should be still on track. So everything's tightened down, and check this out, guys. You move the whole block when you move that. That is why this is so much better. It's just so much stronger compared to the old OEM one that has a little bit of a tendency to break apart. To make sure we got everything out of the pan itself, we just took some Varsol and kind of poured it in there and solutioned it around. And it's getting so much out, but look at how black that Varsol became. So there we go, everything is clean on the inside. There's nothing at all. I just used the air compressor. So now I'm gonna take some lacquer thinner, wipe down this leading edge, and then it's time to put this on the engine block. So we just pulled off the last piece of the pan. This is the seal that we're replacing. This Adrian broke off, and I thought he broke off a piece of plastic, but it's just the O-ring that's that hard. It's like a hard plastic. So we put the new one on. It's nice and rubbery now. We've got all the bolts cleaned up, and it's time to put on the stuff. It is Permatex, the right stuff. That's what the performance shop uses that I talked to. So they said, just go ahead and use this. And then all you do is you make your little path, you wait a minute, and then you put it on the block. You tighten it down, not very much, barely anything at all, and you're good to go. And there we go. So it's literally doing this, and then onto the block, and we are good, and we have the oil pan installed. So there we go, everything is tightened down, and the oil pan is back on Project Daily. So there's a little bit of sealant leaking on little parts, but it's almost perfect. Adrian did a great job on that. So there we go. We have the oil pan back on, and that's going to be about it for today because we did our oil upgrades that everyone should do. The other things that I would recommend if you're looking at doing some oiling upgrades, just because this is an STi motor, so it doesn't need that upgrade, is replacing, if it is a WRX, I believe, or an NA, naturally aspirated motor. These have plastic plates right here, but because it was an STi, it's an alloy plate, so we didn't need to replace that, but it's the same process of putting the gasket on, so it's not really a big deal to film today, but definitely recommend replacing the plastic one with the steel one if you do have that plastic. And then, of course, the rear seal, but most of the time the rear seals don't leak. I just must have got a bad one or something because a lot of people say the seals outlive the engine block. So that is about it for today. We got the oil panel, we got all the oiling systems, and then this is all the mess we gotta deal with. But as I said, we are cleaning up the motor and stuff before we start putting it back together. Check this out, guys. We have 2 black Subis. Anyways, Adrian's STi is gonna be on the channel pretty soon because that's just so good. Because he's actually going to be doing suspension components. He's going to be doing sway bars, suspension, coilovers, and wheels and tires, so he can autocross with us. And he is pretty much my main competition in that autocross. So we're going to see what he's doing in our compound tire. He's doing sway bars front and back, and links, and he's doing HKS coilovers. You're going to have to watch out for all those because I'll be definitely covering all that. But that's going to be awesome on Project Daily. Not Project Daily. What am I talking about? Adrian's 2006 STi Snowflake. So that's going to be it for today. So peace out and stay humble.